Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it is time for Veterans News, and Hank Whittier is in the studio. Good morning, Hank.
Hey, guys, it's us. We're back. We're noisy today. Okay.
Got a room full.
Well, yeah, well, there is a room full today. But you could get 100 more people in the room, and it wouldn't be as noisy as veterans are. It's a prerequisite, you know. Okay, guys, we're back. We do have a couple of casualties. Actually, the casualty we have is someone, a Marine they found from Vietnam days.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but you have the fire rescue on? Did you want
well, let's get them first, and then we'll talk a little bit about that.
Kelly Owens is calling in for Brian's. Kelly, good morning. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning.
Hey, Kel, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Much nicer talking to you than Brian.
I'll tell him you said that.
Where is he today?
He got tied up doing something else this morning, so he had me call in for him.
Would you do me a favor and tell him I would like to talk to him about a couple of things? If you could give me a buzz at my office, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, I sure will. I'll let him know.
I'm embarrassing you on the air, so I know that I've told you, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. I appreciate it. And you got a casualty?
Yes, sir. Actually, we've got notification of 2 this morning.
Okay.
One's a young man. He's 29 years old. He had less than 1 year of service, and he was fighting a commercial fire in Westland Fire Department. That's in Michigan. Let's see. He passed away from injuries sustained in a commercial structure fire in a strip mall. He was caught and trapped when the roof of the structure collapsed. A mayday was called shortly after the collapse. Further details regarding the incident are pending, and it remains under investigation. Let's see the other one. And his name is Brian Wolk.
Okay.
Let's see. And then there's another one. This one was in Tacoma Fire Department in Washington. His name, Albert Neeham. He was 59 years old. While working at the scene of an EMS incident, he collapsed from a apparent heart attack.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, we had 2 this morning.
Yeah, sorry to hear it. All right,
yes,
listen,
sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in. Now, you have a good day.
Oh, you're welcome, and I'll let Brian know he needs to call you.
I need to talk to him about a couple of things. If you get some spare time, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
All
right, have a good day.
Oh, you too now.
Thank you.
All right, and then we do have a Marine that was found from a long time ago. His remains were found and interred in Arlington, apparently.
Yes, sir, on May the 15th. He's been identified as Marine Corps PFC Daniel A. Bennett, of Seattle, Washington. And we've already read the names of all the rest of them that were also interned with the group.
Where he was found and all the circumstances?
Excuse me. I hadn't read all of that point. They were near the Hong Ting Island, from my understanding at this point. But that's
that was the Ameriquas, where they were captured. The ship was captured. They sent the troops in to do the rescue, and that helicopter was shot down.
This was in Cambodia.
Yeah, a long time ago, 1975, I believe. Yeah. So it was a long time ago. But, the remains came back home, and he was buried with honor in Arlington National Cemetery. And they had found 11 or 12 before him, and he was one of the last ones to be found.
That's good.
Okay. I don't think there's any law enforcement. At least I didn't have any on my information that Vivian got for me. But I think this is the celebration of this week. I think a lot of them are up in Washington. I think it's this week that they celebrated and recognized killed in the line of duty.
We will also have, and I apologize, I can't remember the date. I think it's Saturday out here at McPherson Center.
Very good.
Law enforcement. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I wasn't sure.
Curly? Sure.
Announcing one local hero. Name is Thomas Bynes Jr. His funeral services.
The microphone? Maybe it's off.
Is
Maybe.
it on?
There you go.
Is it on?
Okay.
Okay, good morning. I'd like to announce the funeral services of one Thomas Bynes Jr. of Ocala, who passed away May 9th, 2013 at his residence. The funeral will be held Saturday, May 18th at 1 p.m. at the Church of God by Faith of Righteousness and True Holiness in Central Florida. The wake will be held at 7 p.m. at the Greater New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church in Ocala, and services have been entrusted to Snow's Funeral Home.
Okay. That's the only local. Okay, listen, Larry, go ahead and do your Amazing Grace and taps, and we'll come back.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already gone. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us
Yeah, all right. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Start. I
We're-
can see this right now.
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's just Robert's taken over being the office manager. He's got his hands full. What can I tell you?
Yeah, always.
I'm glad to see my instructions get carried out to the letter, though, and I always appreciate that, guys.
It's going to be a good help.
Yeah, yeah. Right. I have my. It's part of my delusions that I have. Why don't you tell us who was responsible, and I'll put in those. You got three of them now to talk
Roberts'
about.
funeral
Well, they're
home
amongst
and
others,
cemetery?
sure.
Hey, they're good. They offer a 24-hour assistance, and they're very caring and knowledgeable staffs are available to talk to you at any time. They're full service, reputable facility, and the funeral home they'll accommodate your needs and requests. They've been here in the county for over 120 years, and will continue to help you in every way, shape, form, or fashion during the hour of need. Also, Ford Lincoln of Ocala. They also have a store in Bellevue now, but it's called The Villages. The Village Ford. That's what it is. And their goal is to ensure that they are one of the best, and They offer a great selection of new and used cars, financing, lease specials, and they have good parts and service repair centers. And stop by the Village Ford in Bellevue.
Right on 441.
Right there. And they're supposed to be grand opening coming up pretty soon, I understand. I haven't heard for sure. Do you know anything, John?
Oh, it's getting bigger, though.
And
Larry knows. He knows everything.
Anyway,
But I'm sure they'll tell us, and they'll you'll probably get a special invitation, go down there.
So it's going to be a big publication about them grand opening down there. And anyway, if you need service for your Ford or Lincoln or your own personal car, no matter what the kind, you can take it to Ford and Lincoln dealership here in Ocala and in Bellevue. And then we have the newest one, which is St. Leo University of Ocala. Their main campus is in St. Leo, Florida, and which I'm an alumni of that one.
Did you graduate, St. Leo?
I did.
All right.
I was a nice guy.
I'll tell you, I'm impressed.
And they're participating members of the Yellow Ribbon Program, and they do work with training and GI Bill's availability for veterans. And they're flexible, they're convenient, and they do have online availability.
Yeah, and they have counselors available. You know, a lot of vets, I talked to a vet the other day about going back to school, and a lot of them are just apprehensive, so they're, you know, but you can call them up, and they'll sit you down and talk to you and explain to you what your benefits are and work you through that whole system and talk about where your course of studies need to be. So St. Leo's is well known and well respected.
They are. And
despite your graduation.
Well, I also graduated from other places, but that's beside the point. It's called the hard knocks.
Well, what surprised me most was the high school graduation.
Yeah, that
really
was a big deal.
me, but
I had to verify that before I could get in.
Yeah, well, I talked to your friends. They told me you were at the bottom of the class, but that's okay.
Doc is usually the one that says something like that.
He did. He gave me some inside information on you. By the way, you two aren't related in any way,
no.
right? No.
His set of dogs are different than mine.
All right. Very good. Okay. Listen, I know you two guys have got some announcements. My friend in the back row always has some announcements.
Yeah,
and then we're going to get Rick and Dave on to talk a little bit about what they do in terms of offering legal advice for veterans. I'd like to have them come on periodically to do that. And this is one of the days they were kind enough to come over. So, Curly, you got anything?
Oh, no, just so proud to be here.
I'll tell you, I'm in a state of shock over here, man.
Well, this is our third Thursday, and we also, I just wanted everybody to remind everybody that, of course, it is our third Thursday, and then we always going to meet at 10:30 at the Ocala Public Library and in Room C. So, for those of us who are not aware, it is our Veterans Council meeting.
I'm glad you mentioned. I kind of triggered something. I met with some of Nugent's people the other day. You know about the 22nd, the Veterans Fair out at the college at the Klein Center on the 22nd. So they were trying to reach some of you guys the other day, and I told them really the best way is just to take a walk over there today and talk to you. So hopefully Nick or some of the... Did you do that already, John?
No, I brought the flyer.
Okay, so that's important. We need to get some representatives out there. It's a Veterans Fair put on by Congressman Nugent on the 22nd of June out at the Klein Center. So a good place to be and, talk about, what you can offer and what services are out for veterans. I don't know if you guys want to talk to Nugent's office. I'm not sure that's a permissible thing, but you might want to do that because there is a Veterans Fair. John, you got anything?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Over at Candler VFW, they have Wednesdays. Next week we're going to have chicken cacciatore, and then on Friday we have our regular fish dinners that we've traditionally held, and we start serving at 4:30, and we continue on until everybody's served. On Sunday, they have our event called Wings and Things. So if you like wings and onion rings and those kind of things, they're going to serve from 4 to 7 on Sunday. And they'll have music, I'm sure. I want to mention about the DAV 85 program that they're going to have on the 19th, Sunday. It's from 1 to 5. They're over on Baseline Road, and they're going to have a flag retirement ceremony. And you can bring your unserviceable flags to be properly retired, and they have refreshments, And the big news is it doesn't cost anything. So I'm sure some of the people will be over there.
Yeah.
And it's a great event. I usually get to go. I have to
hot dogs or
apologize to
hamburgers
Joe that
and-
I'm not going to be able to
Yeah,
go
I'll be
there 'cause
down
we
there.
have Boys
They've asked
State
us to come
at the
down.
same time,
So,
but
yeah, but that's a good event.
It's a great event.
And they put on a good show, and I think they have some entertainment as well. So
They
go on
usually
down
do,
there.
so-
Spend the ceremony of the actual retirement of the flags is at 2:00.
2:00. Right.
But there's free food and sodas and water, I'm sure,
It's a great time.
and
and
some entertainment.
And it's one of the few places that you can go and get your flag properly retired.
Very good.
We used to have that event at the park, but they don't allow us to do those things anymore because of the toxicity of the flags. But it's a good event,
Okay.
and everybody's probably has flags to be retired.
Good. We got a phone call. Well, I know you got something out probably, but you got a phone call?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Hank, this is Jack Bennett. I just wanted to tell John that it was Saturday for the wings and things, not Sunday.
See, he's always there to.
Jack, give him
bail me
credit. He
out.
got the month right, okay? So give him some credit. I mean,
Well, I didn't want people showing up and
it
thinking
just
it was
goes to
Sunday.
show you, Jack, it goes to show you that the medication's working, all right?
For Jack.
Now, Jack,
John just proves John is untrainable.
yeah. That's not an eye-opener. I think most of us are aware of that already, okay? All right, sport.
Thanks, Hank.
Be good, buddy.
Yes,
We got that straight now, John? Huh?
Yeah, maybe. I had to take it because it was
Maybe.
50-50 whether it was Saturday or Sunday.
One of those days. The weekend,
And I
right?
don't remember, but there's that law officers ceremony over at McPherson. Yeah, I believe it's tomorrow at 10, I think. So if somebody
maybe
has
someone
a
from
better
the
memory,
Sheriff's Department.
We heard it in court.
I'm sure
but I didn't
Larry
bring
Larry
this
will
up.
get the word and talk about it later.
But that's
I'm sure.
If I find it, yes.
if you're available to come, that's another good event to honor.
Well, it's honor those who serve us.
Yeah, fallen heroes. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now listen. We saved the best for last, didn't we? Huh?
We have a great event coming up October
There's
18th, 19th.
And
Excuse me, Hank?
No, I'm listening to you.
I thought
I'm
you
all
had
ears.
something to say.
No. I would
we
never
have
interrupt
a charity
you.
event that's going to be hosted by Mr. Roberts and Mr. and Mrs. Roberts of Golden Ocala. We really want to extend a nice thank you to them for hosting this for us. On Friday night, we have a reception, a silent auction, and we have a demonstration with veterans in wheelchairs playing tennis. On Saturday, we have golf, and we're going to have a demonstration with blind veterans playing golf. Some people accuse me of playing blindly. This ought to be interesting to see how they perform. And it just shows you that no matter what type of injury you have or disability, you can still go out and participate and socialize. So I want to extend a thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Larry Roberts, Joe Donnelly, their general manager, Mary Harris, Harold Dean, their food and beverage, Mike Cooney and Nick Montemarano, their golf pros, and Thershin Cheddar, their tennis pro. They're putting this all together for us, and it's wonderful. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Also, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of special people that helped us get this started. Derek Kelly from Holly Davidson here in Ocala, and Al Dunlop. They've done a fantastic job getting us kick-started and getting this organized. I do want to also recognize the Free and Accepted Masons, District 15. We have Mark Haley, Russ Pellman, and Randy Strong. They're doing a great job coordinating, putting this together, getting the Shriners involved. It's going to be fantastic. People that you need to talk to is Phelan Satterfield, 904-553-4157, or Lloyd and Laurie Dorsey, 352-454-2662. They're coordinating this. If you have any questions, you give them a call. They'll help you out. This is going to be a fantastic event. It's for a great cause. It's for American Heroes Shouldn't Be Homeless Project, sponsored by Veterans Helping Veterans. So we hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to, hopefully saved someone's house the other day. At least we're heading in that direction. Hopefully that's going to work. Thanks to you bringing the fella in. We appreciate that.
I talked to him last night. He's excited. He's very
hopefully that
upbeat.
will. Yeah. Well, I hope listen. You can't. Sometimes when you get in those situations, and particularly dealing with the banks, you shouldn't do it alone. I'm sure these attorneys know. They probably dealt with them. I've dealt with the banks. They're not. Some of them are more easier to deal with than others, and some are real difficult to deal with. And this veteran tried to take them on by himself, and that's just not the way to go. So. But that's not unusual. A lot of us think we can handle situations. But thanks for bringing him by, Don. I appreciate it.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for all your hard work, too, because it sounds like you got a long way to go, but 5 months is not really that long. And what amazes me is that this thing has really expanded dramatically. And it looks like the city and the county want to be playing some role in it. We talked with George Albright and David Elsperman and Billy Smith, all three elected officials, and they want to be part of another committee, a community committee that we put together, so to kind of expand it in recognition of veterans and other things going on. So it's going to be a big event in Marion County that's probably going to go on for a long time and get bigger and better as time goes on.
And it's filling up fast. We're getting a lot of people now.
Yeah, give that number out again if they want to get involved, either donations or they want to play golf or whatever they want to do. Why don't you give those
Valen
numbers?
Satterfield, 904-553-4157. Lloyd and Laurie Dorsey, 352-454-2662. Lloyd and Laurie are from the Marine Corps League, and they're one of our sponsors as well. So we've got some pretty solid sponsors coordinating the community with us, helping us. This is going to be great. On Friday night, I failed to mention that it's going to be music, live music, surprise guests, and celebrities going to be attending. We don't want to say too much, but we also have static displays. We got equipment coming in, or World War II equipment now, fire department equipment, as well as military active duty equipment coming in on display, so you can check it out in the parking lots.
I was hoping to meet the North Vietnamese gunner that got you. I was hoping to meet him and thank him.
You will someday.
Yeah.
He's with his
Has he
maker.
crossed over? All right. Hey, listen, Larry, take a break if you would. We'll come back and do a little commercial and then get with Rick and Dave and talk about a couple of things, okay?
All right, we'll be right back.
Bud.
Life's journey has many ups and downs, but you can take comfort in the knowledge that Robert's Funeral Home is here to serve you and your family with loving care and dignity. The Roberts family has been providing their caring services since 1898 and offer traditional, custom, cremation, and veteran services. Pre-made arrangements are also available. Roberts Funeral Homes. Great funeral homes serve great people.
We may not have the kind of winters they have up north, but Florida weather can be still pretty rough on your ride, and Ford Lincoln of Ocala wants to save you money and time during their Restore Your Ride service event. Right now, you can drive into Ford Lincoln of Ocala, receive a free brake inspection, and if it's determined you need brake work, you can receive up to a $50 rebate on any Motorcraft brake service when you use your Ford service credit card. And if it's tires you need, Ford Lincoln of Ocala's Completely Satisfied Service Center can hook you up with up to $120 in rebates on any of the top brands backed by their low-price tire guarantee. So stop chasing all over town for this service and that service. Get it all done right, the right way at the right place at Ford Lincoln of Ocala during their Restore Your Ride event. There's also great savings on Motorcraft batteries, wiper blades. You know, my dad used to say, don't wait till it's too late. Get it done now. Visit Ford Lincoln of Ocala's Completely Satisfied Service Center, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturdays till 5.
Programming support for Veteran News is brought to you in part by St. Leo University's Ocala Center. Claim your future with a highly respected degree from St. Leo University. This year, St. Leo University proudly celebrates 40 years of educating military students and their families. St. Leo University's Ocala Center offers flexible bachelor's and master's degree programs designed for working adults. Classes are forming now. You can learn more about St. Leo University's convenient degree programs offered in Ocala, Lecanto, and Lake Sumter by visiting stleo.edu/Ocala.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
You know what a photobomb is, right? It's when you take a photo of someone and someone else suddenly thrusts themselves into the photo. It's supposed to be funny and ruin the picture, but sometimes it actually makes a better photo, a better end result. Well, that's what happened to me at Kenny's Place Nursery. Well, sort of. I was looking at some flowers when these caladiums caught my eye. It was like being photobombed by a plant. Well, it worked. The caladiums from Kenny's Place Nursery now sit beautifully in my garden with my floral plants. And if the wind is blowing just right, you might find yourself taking a photo of a rose and get photobombed by one of those caladiums. Kenny's Place has caladiums in a variety of colors, and the 1 gallon size is only $3.50. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Well, the new year is upon us, and that means getting to those forgotten projects that you promised you would. So whether you're tackling a small honeydew list or building the Taj Mahal, Sunbelt Rentals will help you get the job done right with the right tools. From carpet cleaners to excavators, Sunbelt Rentals has what you need. So what are you waiting for? Get it done. Rent it now. From Sunbelt Rentals, located on Highway 27, just a half-mile east of I-75. Or visit sunbeltrentals.com. Get it done. Rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
28 minutes before 10 o'clock, let's return to Veterans News and Hank Whittier. Hank?
We're back again. We're back again. We are. Hey, John, you going to enlighten us about who's paying for the ASEA time? By the way, we have a St. Leo's instructor here. How many days a week do you do that? Or you do it once a week?
Online. So
online stuff?
Rather flexible,
okay. Yeah. Right.
There's a chance for Don.
He'll get. He wants to go back. Would you take? Take Don in one of your classes?
Absolutely.
You want to be an attorney? You and F. Lee Bailey, then? Did you? I have a story about him, by the way. Good.
All right. So,
John, listen. He's got important stuff to do now. Don't interrupt him.
Stuff, huh? Yeah, we want to remind you that Robert's Funeral Homes, one of our, our original sponsors.
They are. They came with us. How long has it been, Larry? 9 years now? About 9 years ago. Yeah.
They're always there with their caring, knowledgeable staff, 24 hours to assist you, a full-service, reputable facility, a funeral home that will accommodate your every need and your requests, and you always get itemized accounting for the services you get, and they've been doing business with integrity for over 120 years in our community. So I guess that's a testimony in itself if you can be in business for over 120 years. We also have Ford Lincoln of Ocala, and their goal is to ensure that they're one of the best Ford Lincoln dealers in Florida, and probably the whole country is their next step. They offer a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. They have their own in-house financing. They have leases and other specials all the time. And then it's backed up by parts and services. They got a great service center to keep your vehicle in top-notch performance after you make that pleasant sale. And they also have Village Ford in Bellevue in that new facility to replace the existing facility is coming right along. So we're waiting to see the new opening, but they have both service centers in Ocala and Bellevue. And then our newest sponsor is St. Leo University of Ocala, and it's approved for veterans training under the GI Bill. And last week we tried to clarify what that participating member of the Yellow Ribbon program was, and Larry Googled it and found out that's their program that allows them to participate in the GI Bill. So they're here, and why would you pick them? Because they're convenient. They're right here in Ocala. They're flexible. They give you personal attention from the start to graduation, and it's affordable academic excellence. So what more could you ask for?
Well, and you got Dave doing courses online.
We learned that Robert.
We learned that Robert undergraduate law classes.
We learned that Robert graduated there, and we won't hold that against him.
No, well, yeah, that was a long time ago. That Robert.
That's a long time ago, right?
You got somebody on the line?
Yes, sir.
By the way, someone from St. Leo's is supposed to come on in not too distant future, so talk about what courses they offer and all that good stuff.
Good morning. You're on the air with Hank.
Good morning, Hank. It's Sonny calling.
Hey, Sonny. You one of those paranoid Tea Party people that calling in?
Oh yeah, over the top.
Over the top, paranoid. Government really isn't that bad.
Oh no. It's the other way. Daniel Webster finally sent me some information about when I call him about the 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition that the federal government decided they all of a sudden needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're buying up all that ammo.
Well, number one, maybe that's to help the drive the cost up of ammunition, which would stop people from maybe running out there and buying as much as they really wanted to buy. Mm-hmm. But what he's saying to me in so many words, there's nothing wrong with that. 4 rounds for every person that's living in the United States. According to him, the DHS, or Department of Homeland Security, could purchase 750 million rounds of ammunition over the next 5 years. They use it at their training facilities. What do these guys shoot a gun 24/7 or something? I don't know.
Yeah, well, they can't hit anything anyway.
But anyway, the thing is, they're saying it's for their training facilities. And 90 federal agencies.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot of agencies, don't you think?
Yeah, I see Rich Nugent has been concerned about that and is actually probing, and along with some other congressmen, are probing, what's really going on. We know what's going on.
I tried getting in contact with him. I left the messages asking if I would like a response. The only guy I got a response from was Webster, who thinks there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, listen, I'm going to see Rich Saturday night, as a matter of fact, so I'll be talking to him about it.
There's some guys who were finally starting to get some of the dirt. We still haven't heard anything about... Do you know when Gaddafi was killed, that Libya was one of the largest armed Middle Eastern countries in the entire Middle East? What happened to all that weaponry?
Well, I'm afraid we're going to find out.
Maybe our Ambassador Stevenson was onto something and needed to be eliminated.
Sonny, I know you get depressed. I want to give you a word of encouragement. Just remember that the Department of Justice and Eric Holder are in charge of the investigation on IRS. Okay, so
doesn't that make you nervous?
Doesn't it make you feel warm and fuzzy?
Oh yeah, and you call me paranoid, huh?
I love the kick in.
Have a good day,
all right,
guys.
Man. We'll talk, Sonny. Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Don't you feel warm? I love that. Eric Holder, my hero.
I'm not too concerned about the munition. What I'm concerned about is who got the contract and how they got that contract. It's about money. Somebody's getting a long-time contract that'll keep their company going for a long time and paying off.
Well, you know who's selling all the post offices that have been closed down? It happens to be Feinstein's husband's firm.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Yeah. Oh, well.
We don't need to be going.
No, well, these guys want to talk this morning. We won't go there. We'll do it. We'll save that for another day. But remember how the Tea Party people are all paranoid. Remember that. Yeah, horrible people out there. Well, the chickens come home to roost sometimes, and I think they're coming home to roost. Hey, guys, I appreciate you coming in all the way from Citrus, and I guess you came in from Brandon. Yeah, listen, appreciate that. Where are we going? To our two great attorneys. And by the way, Rick, I sent a non-related kind of situation over to Rick the other day, and he gave the guys some good advice. I appreciate you guys doing that.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, again, you all are veteran friendly, and we appreciate all the good stuff you do. So where are we going today? First of all, tell them who you are.
Well, Hank, good morning. Rick Hurley. Before I begin, I'd like to first thank Lynn and Jeffrey in Ocala from the Orchid Club down in Oak Run community. They had an event last night. They do it once a month, and I was invited to come in and speak. And there were about 125 veterans there, and it was a wonderful evening.
Oh, very good.
One of the issues that came up as a result of the evening dealt with the VA pension. And so I thought I would, before I turn it over to David, who has a very topical story that came out in the USA Today paper today that he's going to talk about, I just wanted to kind of go over that VA pension. You know, the pension is a needs-based benefit paid to veterans, wartime veterans, who meet certain age or non-service connected disability requirements. And the question then is, who is eligible? First of all, if you were discharged from service other than dishonorable conditions and you served 90 days or more of active military, naval, or air service with at least 1 day during a period of wartime, and your countable income is below the maximum annual pension rate, and you meet the net worth limitations, and you are age 65 or older, or shown by evidence to have a permanent and total non-service connected disability, or are a patient in a nursing home, or are receiving Social Security disability benefits. Also, veterans who entered active duty after September 7, 1980 must also serve at least 24 months of active duty service. If the total length of service is less than 24 months, the veteran must have completed his or her entire tour of active duty. I hope some of the vets who were at the Orchid Club last night were able to hear this clarification, because it did come up a few times, and it's a very important issue that keeps coming up every time I talk to a veteran. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to my partner, David, to talk about something that I think is very, very important.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Hank, for having us on.
Well, glad to see you guys again.
Yeah, this is David Corey. Rick and I were on the show about 6 weeks ago talking about VA disability compensation and other issues. We would like to continue with some advice today, but one topic that's been in the media recently, there have been scandals in the Air Force and some of the other services, particularly in basic training, where some of the drill instructors assaulting, sexual harassment, those sorts of things, receiving more media attention. And this morning's USA Today paper, those of you that are watching this live stream on the video, headline, "Why the Military Hasn't Stopped Sexual Abuse." We can discuss that all day, but what I want to do is briefly discuss in the context of VA disability compensation, because we've had a number of clients over the last few years, and some ones that would probably be surprising to you, that involved assault and sexual assault in the military. 3 clients that come to my mind includes one that went to Marine Corps boot camp, 1961, San Diego, sexually assaulted by a drill instructor, rated 100% post-traumatic stress disorder from that. Another client joined the Marines a week after his 17th birthday, a physical assault by a drill instructor, PTSD, other problems, suicide attempt while in boot camp, started doing drugs, and knocked him off of a good path in life, so to speak. He's been messed up seriously since then. Had another client who was in the Guard, served over 30 years, and he was the victim of same-gender sexual harassment to the point where it stressed him out, caused him so much anger that he literally had a stroke, and is disabled because of the stroke now. So these cases may present themselves in different ways, but one thing I wanted to mention as far as disability compensation, the VA has recognized that that these things happen in the military, and that sometimes there really isn't the evidence. And you all know, I'm sure from your own experiences and from stories of those you've talked to, the VA can be really tough sometimes. It's almost like they're looking for a reason to deny a claim. So if you don't have the evidence, particularly in a case where it might be one person's word against another, how do you prove that? Well, the VA has, in their regulations, they look for what they call markers, basically signs, other circumstances that might circumstantially confirm the person, the claimant, the veteran's claim that they had been assaulted or sexually assaulted in the military. And some of the things can include not only the obvious, if they'd file a report, a complaint with law enforcement, but other things like a significant deterioration in job performance, trying to go AWOL, substance abuse, etc. And in the case of one of my clients, he went AWOL twice. He started using drugs, tried to commit suicide because of the assaults in boot camp. Another one of my clients, and this was confirmed by psychological evaluations later, the effects of the assault on him turned him into a workaholic. Instead of an alcoholic or a drug addict, he turned into a workaholic, and it had lots of other problems in his life, far beyond that, obviously, affecting his ability to deal with people, relationships, both personally and also at work. So there are a lot of signs there, but the point I want to emphasize is this is an issue that's getting more attention. It's been around for a long time, actually, in different forms. A lot of people think of post-traumatic stress just as a combat thing, but that's certainly not the limited of that issue. I know there's all the veterans in the room representing different services. Some of you went to boot camp maybe years ago back in the 60s. Modern time boot camp, things are a bit different, but there's, as you may have seen in recent reports, the Air Force boot camp, Lackland Air Force Base, has had a string of prosecutions, court-martials, etc., discharges, senior officers being relieved of duty because of allowing and creating an environment where the recruits are assaulted, sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, raped, those sorts of things. So it's a serious problem. It's intolerable. Different ways to approach the issue. And as I said, the context of my discussion this morning was as far as disability compensation. A lot of these veterans end up having psychological problems, sometimes physical problems as well. Any thoughts, questions?
Well, you handled how many cases you've handled. What percentage are related to sexual abuse or sexual assaults that you've seen?
Not a great percentage. Not a great percentage, but some of the ones that, and we've got some more potential clients that have presented these issues as well. It's a small percentage of the total number of cases, but it's still an alarming number. And in preparing some of those cases, I did research to see what documentation there had been, and came across one article a few years ago where some historians, military historians, had done research, interviewed. The study was in the context of Vietnam War era boot camp training of two services, the Marines and the Army, and they were trying to document. A lot of it was anecdotal, stories from recruits that went through boot camp. And it wasn't necessarily sexual assault, but there were some cases of that. But also just kind of over-the-top physical assault, that sort of thing, and the effects that that had on people. Particularly, as I say, in the case of one of my clients who joined the Marines a week after his 17th birthday. I mean, here's a kid that, could have been still in high school, worried about other things, and he did not adapt well to the environment, particularly the way things panned out for him.
And how long ago was that?
That case was in the early 70s. Another one of my clients was, I said earlier, the example was 1961 boot camp in San Diego. And it took him 10 years of fighting with the VA, trying to prove things and prove the extent. I represented him for the last 4 of those 10 years. And he ultimately succeeded, got 100% for the psychological things. And when you... really get an appreciation of it, you have get a sense of talking to a veteran that has gone through that and see how it's fouled up their life. over a course of decades, affecting their their ability to deal with people or not deal with people, and other things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, sometimes I believe it. The military is a social experiment, and when you take, yes, it is. And when you start taking these diversified areas, bringing in the folks, I remember at the Pentagon when we were talking about bringing the women in, combining women with men in the services, not the separate militaries, but the one. And they were talking about the assaults. They were talking about prostitution. They were talking about what type of individuals coming in. And they also brought up the case when they said ethically, culturally, what was driving some of these cases. It's not the military. It could be from their own social environments that they came from, both sides.
Right.
So you look at that, and that was all brought up, and that was all discussed. And some people just said, hey, let it go. It's a social experiment. We'll see what happens. So you see what falls out of that. You go into these services, you got a 17-year-old individual coming into the service. He has to have his parents sign off saying, hey, this kid is going in because he's strong, or he's going in because we can't handle him. He's having problems. So you take it on and say, well, the service created this. Yeah, so it's a two-way street, and I like to see that more balanced than just saying it was caused by. There's a cause and effect, and you want a Band-Aid approach by saying, I'm going to do this for you and fix that for you. So we should be cognizant of that and aware of that.
Right.
And you probably are. You guys are.
It is
but I'm not so sure they are.
No, it is complicated, and I'm certainly there are individuals that join the service with prior problems, and the VA is usually very quick to latch onto those things and say, well, your problems are not due to the military, but in some cases they at least may have been severely aggravated by what happened in the military. I mean, not everyone is cut out for military service.
Sure.
And when the military says, you got a clean bill of health, come on in, we welcome your service, and they don't take into consideration that some people are not going to be able to cope with that environment, then it's kind of a recipe for problems. And certainly there's a lot of things. This article in USA Today is quoting some sociologists and others that talk about, this is what's going on in the military. Some of these problems are a reflection of poor standards in society at large. Yes, I agree with you. It's not created by the military, but the military has an obligation for its own purposes, not to
So
allow this
let
to
me
go on.
switch gears on you for a second,
Sure.
because I laugh at this one.
Right.
I was wounded, pretty severely wounded, and they would ask us. Now I'm a Marine, Sergeant in the Marine Corps. Search and destroy for 10 months as a point man. And they ask you, do you have nightmares? You know what my answer is? Hell no. I don't have nightmares. I didn't know what the definition of a nightmare was. Did anything keep you up? I used to wake up at night saying, shoot that guy, shoot him, shoot that so-so. I didn't know that was a nightmare. I thought it was the monster coming out of the closet chasing you as a nightmare. But they said, no, that's a nightmare. So you get sort of like recognition for something, for disability.
Right.
But things like that, definitions and understanding what they're asking you, may make it easier for a veteran to answer. Because there's no way in hell a Marine's going to say, yeah, I have nightmares. I have nightmares of my DI yelling at me 10 years ago.
Right.
It doesn't. They don't talk that way,
Right.
at least in my circles.
Right.
Maybe in Hank's they do.
No, I think the other thing is a typical question might be to the veteran by the doctor, how you doing today?
Yeah.
I'm fine. That's
I'm fine. How you
automatic.
doing?
Yeah.
Everybody, you're in the military environment, you're taught to suck it up and be tough and never
Exactly.
complain. And anyone that goes to help is considered weak for doing that.
Right.
So there's the big culture there. But on the same time, look at the effect that it is having on people. And I mean, and I realize those that have been in combat, which I wasn't, have a completely different perspective on things. And those that haven't, I know Larry back in February had an interview with two Vietnam vets, Clark Welch and General Shelton, which I've watched. Fascinating. I've read the book about they marched into sunlight. And for those that have never been in combat, I think that's a good book to read to see what kind of a hellacious existence it was over there in Vietnam. But anyway, I digress slightly. But Rick, you wanted to add?
Well, that's that whole topic, because I deal with a lot of vets that come in and looking for compensation from what took place before, and a lot of them legit. But frankly, and again, as another veteran, I have to sit there sometimes and wonder, their experience or my experiences. We're all different. No one goes to Marine boot camp without getting some form of attention from the drill instructor, and it's usually not welcomed. So you can go over the top. There's no question about that. But those guys and women who do the training are getting you ready for combat. They're getting ready for you to fight. So I don't know. A lot of times we put it all on the military, and we put it all on drill instructors and how brutal they are. But they got a tough job. They got a tough job in getting you ready to do your job, which is, and for the Marine Corps is basically putting you into combat. So I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about all that. I don't know that case, obviously, and I'm sure they did go over the top. You got a phone call.
Good morning. You're on the air with Hank.
Hey, Hank. It's Mark. You're
Hey, Mark. How you doing, bud? Haven't heard from you in a while. Were you that guy? He got 100% for Mark. Was the drill instructor mean to you?
I was raised by a Korea Marine infantryman, and he didn't go there to buy furniture. He was there as an infantryman in 1951. So actually, when I got to boot camp, I actually thought it was going to be a little tougher than it was. It did have its moments. But I would say, just in reference to the current conversation, I would thank the attorneys for their rights to defend our rights, and those are part of our rights to help folks. But tough times produce tough drill instructors, and the war in Vietnam was really not too dissimilar from the conditions of World War II, and at times probably tougher. And what the Marine Corps boot camp puts you through during those times, I think it's just like something that could happen in the nation's future. Things get tougher, and your training and demands will get tougher. But there can be individual cases of abuse, like the one Marine Corps drill instructor, I think in the early 60s, that marched those guys into a marsh and drowned them. And he himself actually was probably PTSD from the Korean War, and wanted to make sure these guys were tough. So the weak link in the chain, unfortunately, as a Marine Corps drill instructor would say, can get you all killed. And it's an unfortunate process, but it is necessary for the jaws of war that you're going to walk
Well, again,
into.
you're not training them to be clerks. You're not training them to be clerks in Macy's. Okay, I mean, you're training them to go into combat.
And no one's calling to dispute that.
But it's a good discussion, because it's one mark that we're seeing a dramatic increase in disability request in terms of people saying, hey, the service did this to me. And that has a lot of implications, not just financially for all of us, but across the board,
I would ask, Hank, in your observation, not to deny the reality that you're witnessing, but also the profound number of veterans, that live in this area. There's a huge number to begin with, but also when the economy's not able to support people on their own 2 feet, you're going to see more people asking for more help from different angles, and I'm not besmirching people's attempts to survive, and it includes the Veterans Administration's medical aspect of it. So, in other words, when they don't have civilian, opportunities at counterparts, they're going to come right back to the government that they serve.
No, that's an excellent point. And look, we're almost out of time, but we probably need to do this one again, because this one's, I guess, pushed my button and a couple of other buttons out there. But listen, it's something that generates a lot of conversation within the veteran community. So, Dave, go ahead. I mean, I didn't want to cut you off.
I didn't mean it in any way to suggest that. I think Americans expect boot camp to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there can be some situations where things go over the top and crazy stuff happens, and there needs to be some accountability. But as far as the VA compensation, I personally think. The VA does recognize this, although they deny a lot of claims, which is to recognize that sometimes this really messes people up.
Sure.
And a physical thing might be obvious, but what happens to people psychologically too is still they're a casualty to a certain extent.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are casualties. We all had people we served with that they really weren't suited for service life, and they probably never should have got in.
Right.
But there they go. And hey, look, you have a valuable service, and there are some, as you said, the over-the-top approach, whether it's a DI or a training instructor. the sexual stuff really kind of interests me too, because when I talk to a lot of these men and women, it's pretty much what you say. No one witnessed it other than the two people involved. It's something that happened 10 years ago, and then someone's coming to you or to me and saying, "Hey, this happened to me in 1982, and I was raped."
And how do we prove it?
And how do we prove it?
Right.
And I don't know how you do that. I mean, like you say, there are benchmarks and red flags, but
and that's exactly right. And I think the thing is, as lawyers, when a person comes to us and says that, we can't. We have to analyze things. We can't take the position, well, just because you can't prove it, it doesn't happen. But we do have to look at things and what kind of an obstacle the VA is going to put up, and how can we win.
Yeah, good. It's a good point. Listen, you guys come in, we always kind of get a little sidetracked. Rick's going to say a few words. We got to go in just a minute, Rick.
Yeah, I currently have a case that deals directly on this issue, and
we won't go into details.
But it was the cover-up is the issue. But before we go, one of the things that David and I like to reinforce is essentially some rules for the veterans out there. And remember the benefit of the doubt rule. Remember that the burden of proof in proving things to a 50-50 chance of likelihood, and the benefit of the doubt rule means that the tie goes to the veteran. Be persistent with your case. Don't quit if you think you have a case. If you don't know if you have a case, talk with your VSO or an accredited lawyer. Get a second opinion. If you aren't satisfied with one, go get another one. After a medical appointment, go to the medical facilities, release information, order a copy of the records, keep a copy, and send a copy to your rep. These are certain basic rules that you need to know as you're pursuing your own claims.
Hopefully we'll get you guys on periodically, and I want to clarify one thing, that Don Harrison's PTSD is really from Boston. He crossed the river over to our side occasionally, got his butt beat, and that's where he's suffering. He's still suffering the physical wounds from that, too. Listen, guys, thanks for listening. Thank you for your service, and God bless America. Thank you, guys.
You had to get that.
Yep.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. As many as 10 tornadoes tore through North Texas, where officials in hard-hit Granbury are still picking up the pieces. At least 6 people were killed and dozens were hurt. Over 100 homes suffered damage. Things have been heating up at the unemployment office, where 32,000 more people showed up to apply for benefits last week. Analysts say it could indicate companies are cutting more jobs because of government spending cuts. A growing number of neonatal intensive care units are piping music into the air. New research suggests mild-mannered music can have a positive impact on preemies by easing stress, slowing heartbeats, calming their breathing.